officially introduced Jaylen Brown on Thursday. The new look Sixers include Brown, LeBron James, added to a squad with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Kevin Durant was asked about his thoughts on this team and says it's comparable to his elite Warrior squads.
Last time they put three 20-point scores on the team, they said it was unfair, which is the team I was on. Yeah. They got 4 25-point scores on this team. So, hell yeah, I think they're going to be a contender, man. They're going to be a great team to watch.
For more, we welcome in CBS Sports basketball analyst Noah Buono. And Noah, it's no better time than early August to start overreacting and play a little game of fair or foul when it comes to the NBA. Is it fair to say that the 76ers are now the class of the NBA with these recent additions?
I guess the way you phrase that puts me in a difficult position because I think they very well are, going to be the class of this season, and we're going to see some different play styles from a lot of these guys on this Sixers roster that are giving everybody some hesitancy about how it's going to look. I think playing the Kevin Durant sound was important to start this off because I think Kevin Durant has some amnesia, forgetting that he was on multiple teams. He said 20-point per game scorers and 25-point per game scorers. So if we just go to 20-point per game scorers, he was most recently employed on a team that had himself, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, 3 guys that all averaged 20-plus points over their career. And prior to that, it was him, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden in Brooklyn. That was before or just after the Golden State run that he referenced in that clip. So do I necessarily think that just because these guys have all had moments in their careers where they've averaged, 25 plus, some have averaged 30 in their career, that means that this team is just going to be gelling from day one? Absolutely not. Like, this team has so many roles to figure out between LeBron. How much is he going to be on the ball or off the ball? I expect him to be on the ball a ton as a point guard, and Tyrese Maxey and Jaylen Brown probably to be off the ball a bunch and playing off of him with LeBron trying to make things easy for everybody. So those type of things that you could go 10, 15, 20 minutes, you could go 2 episodes of podcasts talking about the dissection of what that Philadelphia 76ers offense should look like. Are all being figured out right now. LeBron hasn't even had his press conference. But ultimately, when I think about where this Sixers team was, you get Paul George 2 years ago on a deal that turned out to be really costly and bad, and somehow you flip Paul George into LeBron James and Jaylen Brown. And those 2 seasons with Paul George, they won 45 games and 24 games, and then 4 playoff games beating the Boston Celtics. The Golden State Warriors, prior to adding Kevin Durant in their first 2 years, when they won a championship and then won 73 games, the NBA's all-time regular season record, and lost the championship, they won 67 games, 73 games, and 31 postseason games. That's 171 games over the span of 2 seasons. So they were already the class when Kevin Durant decided to join them. The Philadelphia 76ers, they just won their first playoff series in multiple years, after multiple years of droughts and injuries to Joel Embiid. So this is a long way of saying that they could be the class of the NBA, but they surely are not there yet, given they have not stepped on the floor together.
Yeah, we saw another development in the Kawhi Leonard saga on Thursday night. On the latest edition of his podcast, journalist Pablo Torre reported that Kawhi had another undisclosed sponsorship deal with Daktronics, the company that designed the Clippers video board at the Intuit Dome. Torre quoted one anonymous source saying it was, quote unquote, 1,000% a way to circumvent the salary cap. Of course, the NBA has already been investigating a previous sponsorship deal with now defunct Aspiration for 11 months. So is it an overreaction to say that the NBA should not only punish Kawhi, but also the LA Clippers?
No, it's not an overreaction. And honestly, the NBA and Adam Silver and maybe the law firm that's taking forever to conclude their investigation, maybe they should get a punishment too, because what is taking so long? Pablo Torre is clearly, thoroughly, to the absolute maximum of his capability, has outlined the issues here and the problems that Kawhi Leonard got $28 million from Aspiration, got an additional $20 million equity investment from them. That's $48 million to do absolutely nothing for a company that has crumbled. And then this Daktronics news that came out this past week that Pablo Torre also investigated is unbelievable. Like, that's the giant Halo scoreboard. I think it's like 38,000 square feet in the Intuit Dome, made by Daktronics, that just has this on-the-side agreement meant to circumvent the salary cap. Additionally, from the Aspiration one as well, I just don't see how you work around this. Like, if you're Toronto, yeah, we want Kawhi. Do we want him for the 2 draft picks we gave up and all the guys that we also included? They're going to have to figure that out. That's why this trade has been completely frozen. But I also was listening to more of Pablo Torre, and I was younger when this happened, but he did remind listeners when he said this that this is not Steve Ballmer's first offense. In 2015, the Clippers had a deal with Lexus, and they tried to offer DeAndre Jordan $250 million. Excuse me, $250,000. $250 million for DeAndre Jordan would be crazy. They tried to offer him $250K as like a backdoor deal for DeAndre Jordan with Lexus, and Steve Ballmer was fine. So, this is not the first time that Steve Ballmer has done this. Excuse me, I misspoke. Steve Ballmer was fined $250K. The number that they offered DeAndre Jordan was undisclosed. But this whole thing is being handled by Wachtell Lipton Law Firm, which is like outside the NBA. Like they've passed this over to them, and that's maybe why it's taking so long. The max you can fine an owner is $10 million. I would imagine. I don't know if $10 million, I mean, I don't know that would even cover the ground of what Kawhi Leonard allegedly was able to get away with. And Steve Ballmer, not understanding the person at Aspiration that he was getting in business with and giving $60 million. The whole thing is an absolute mess that I think all NBA fans would love to have wrapped up. I surely would love to never have to talk about it again and know what's going to happen. Is Kawhi Leonard going to be a Toronto Raptor again or not? I think that's the biggest hole here, is like we don't know where these guys are going to be playing next year, or if Kawhi Leonard's going to get suspended. Is his contract going to get voided? And I think we're all just chomping at the bit here. Let's get an answer and a conclusion, because Pablo Torre, he wouldn't be reporting this thoroughly if there wasn't some real validity behind the scenes of what happened there with Kawhi and the Clippers.
Yeah, certainly a mess, and it feels like kind of uncharted territory, but it's something you'd certainly like to see settled, definitely, before the start of the season. Now, taking a look at Golden State, we sort of mentioned them earlier in regards to Kevin Durant, but LeBron's decision to sign with the 76ers now has many asking about the future of Steph Curry. Obviously, he said he wants to play for the same franchise his entire career. But, I mean, he heads into his 18th NBA season, probably wants to chase one more title. Is it fair to say that this is his final year in Golden State?
No, that's foul. I mean, that is so beyond foul, because it just doesn't feel right for Steph Curry to ever be on another team than the Golden State Warriors. Now, but here's the thing. The last 7 years of Steph Curry's career, since they were in the finals for 4 consecutive years, from 2015 to 2019 when they won 3 and they lost 2. 5 straight years in the finals. The last 7 years, Steph Curry and the Warriors have missed the playoff 4 times. They have 2 second-round exits and a championship. Now, you might argue that just because they have that 4th championship, and they did it with Clay, Draymond, Iguodala was back on the team, that's enough, and they should all be content. But, we know Steph Curry is still playing at a high level. I know he dealt with injuries last year, but when he's out on the floor, which for the most part he's been, we know he wants to compete for a championship. We know he's capable of competing for a championship. The only thing I could maybe compare this to, if we witness another redundant season for the Golden State Warriors, with Jimmy Butler coming back midway through the year and Draymond getting older and there not being a real second option under Steph Curry,